Now in these next segments, I will show you 3 different versions of a single palm change that I teach my students. Now, the first thing I want to explain to you is the difference between the single palm change, the double palm change, and the smooth palm change, as best I can. There's a lot of conflicting information. There's very little information that you can find on how to tell the difference. But here's the best way that I've heard and the best thing I've heard about how to do it. A single palm change stays horizontal, and there's a change from front to back, and the legs change. So if I do a single palm change, okay. Now that was a single palm change. But single palm changes and double palm changes combine to make smooth palm changes. So what's the difference? Usually the single palm change stays horizontal. So there's one change horizontally. If you add vertical movements that are different from that horizontal movement, then that becomes a double palm change. Okay, so as soon as I start adding up and down movements to a horizontal movement, then in effect I've created a double palm change. And all the smooth palm changes then are just everything else. There's not really a third palm change. It's just the single and the double palm changes all mixed together. And remember, there are a lot of styles of this, even in the Qing style, in the Qing lineage. When you get in the Yinfu lineage, there's even more differentiations. So, you know, it just depends on what you're trying to do. But at the essence of everything is change. It's about bien hua, the art of change, how change takes place, how you can smoothly cause yourself to change from one thing to another thing. And that's just like the dial. The dial is in constant flux. It's unchanging because it contains every change. So there's a yin and yang aspect to it. You have to, everything's an opposites. Okay, yin and yang are opposites, but yet they combine in 4 different ways. It's important to understand that when you're doing any type of internal martial art. Yin and yang oppose each other. They depend upon each other. They consume each other, and they morph into each other all at the same time. So the Tao encompasses both yin and yang. Okay? But yet the Tao wouldn't exist without yin and yang. So yeah, it's complicated. It's very philosophical. But understand that. So I'm going to show you the first palm change. I'll start right here so that you can see it. As I come out like this and the dragon stretches its claws, I'm going to make an even number of steps. You can just make 8 if you want. I'll probably stop before that just so that you can see what I'm doing. But as I walk the circle here, 2, 3, you can notice I started closed. I'm going to finish open. That means that my open side's here. I'm not going to finish like this to do the movement. There are forms that you do that with, but they're not the mother 8-palm form. So as I finish it up, I would finish it, say if I was going this way, because you will do it both ways. If I was going this way, I'd finish it up this way. So this is my open side over here. This is my closed side. So if I was going this way, you see, I'll get, so I'm just going to cut it right through here so you can see. I would finish it off like this. This will be back here at this side, but I just want you to be able to see. So I'd finish it like this. Then I'm going to do something on that 8th step. I'm going to turn the foot before I set it down. So as I come here, I'm going to do this toe-in stance calvo, toe-in stance or buckle step. Then I'm going to do something called cover the elbow. Notice how I spin on my axis. I always do that. So I spin on my axis and cover the elbow. Then I turn, take this stance. This is in a bow stance here. I will show you later you can do a toe out stance here. Then I'm going to come this way and counter the tube. Notice how both shoulders move together as I encounter that tube. Both shoulders move together. Then as this hits it, it comes out into this configuration we actually call easy or walking the horse as I hold this movement here. So buckle step, turn, This movement sometimes called piercing palm or pick up clothes. Pick up clothes or pierce garment. Why do they call it that? Well, in the old days, in Asia, China especially, people wore long gowns. And when you walked, you had to pick it up, right? So you would just reach down and pick it up like this. And that's where this actual movement comes from, the name of it does. I sometimes call this piercing palm. Okay, but you call it whatever you want. Like I've said before, you can name it anything you want to name it. But as I come over here, I'm going to do this buckle step, cover elbow, pick up clothes, and both shoulders move. And you can see that this left side is naturally just going to hit the tube first. Then the right side has yet to hit the tube, but yet I cannot stop. This is a very important principle, not only in self-defense, but in martial arts. Never stop. Never stop anything, but also never oppose. So if I never oppose my opponent's force and I never stop, what does that give me? And what's the remainder then? That's important to understand. You will enter your opponent's awareness at that point. Because for your body to stop, your mind has to stop. And if your mind stops, if your awareness stops, then you're only aware of one segment of your 360-degree circle at once. That's why bagua, in my opinion, is such a great martial art. Not only for health, but for self-defense. It increases your awareness. So as I come across this way and do this step, you can see that the whole body's moving here from one stance to the other. The crotch is open. Always on any stance like this, the crotch needs to be open. You don't need to close this in. So the crotch is open as I change. As this hits this, it's going to come around because it's on a tube like this. This arm yet now has not hit this tube yet. So as this hits, this comes around. As I take a step, you can see my waist is turning. This hand's coming around on the tube like this, cutting the tube like this. And this hand's coming under it, cutting the tube, turning it over, and ready for this next step on the opposite side. Okay, so I'll do that for you, and I'll go slow. Now, let's just say I did it right here. Buckle step, turn, come around, pick up clothes, come under, turn it over, take that step. I'm going this way now. Buckle step, turn, pick up clothes, come under, and I'm back again. And I'm back again. That will suffice for a first palm change. Very good. If you can practice that and make that smooth, get your stance correct, get your walk correct, then you'll be a long way into being able to do much more complicated movements on the circle. So welcome back. We're ready for the next palm change, which is still a single palm change. This is the first movement you'll do. So let me explain to you. You've got 8 movements that you're going to do clockwise and counterclockwise around the circle. Okay, so it's really 16. But you're going to do one movement clockwise and one counterclockwise. Now, what you can do is you can add these palm changes in any way you want to. You can start with that very simplified one that I've just showed you, or you can start with this next one, the intermediate one, or you can do a much more complicated one. Okay, so I'll go over the next one now. This one we're going to add something. So before, as you know, we started out with droop down palm. We had that little shake. We came up, we stepped out, we did turn and press palm. We did the walk, an even number of steps. Okay, so when we got to the 6th step, we buckle stepped. We came over, we picked up clothes. We turned this under, and we came over like this. and we came back out into dragon stretches its claws going clockwise. Now, once you finished it going clockwise, so let's do it this way. So I'm going clockwise, buckle step, turn, pick up close or pierce palm, come under, take that step. So as this exchanges, your foot exchanges, you see, and then you're back again, okay? Now on this one, you're going to walk an even number of steps. This will be your second round. You're going to walk an even number of steps, and we're going to add something. And the movement is called hide the flowers under the leaves. So let me show you how that works. You see I buckle stepped here. Let me do it in a way that you can see it. That's the biggest problem. So let's say I was going this way. I buckle stepped here. Let's go out this way. Buckle stepped here, cover the elbow, pick this up, turn, toe out. Still do pick up close. This hand comes under, but now I bring this foot around like this, and this hand, the right hand, comes under and up like this. Then I pick up like this. The wrist bend again. I pick up. You can see that now I'm in this configuration, and I've turned and I come out like that. So that's hide the flowers under the leaves. Let's see if I can do it in a way that you can see it better. Let's go this way. You see? So if I turned like this, covered this, you see this foot's coming out this way. I come around now. I'm still doing the same movement this way. So I bring this around, but this hand comes under this way. See, so now if I turned, you would see it this way. But I'll be this way. Then I come up like this and turn and press palm and come out. So I'll do it both ways to show you. But what you want to realize is that when you put this hand under here, this palm comes up. And it's fairly close. The next one will be further out. This is fairly close. And you can see that I have a very classic, okay, toe-in stance here. Right? So I've turned both feet in. So I'll do it both ways, and I'll do it slow. And what I'm going to do is just cut around here and turn right here both ways so you can see it. So one I'll go this way and one I'll go this way, so I don't have to go so far back so you'll miss seeing it. So you can see that I'm walking in the circle here. If I was walking it around this way, then if I wound up this way, I would buckle step, turn, toe out, toe in, around, this comes up, and I'm over that way. Okay? If I do it the other way, where I'm coming this way, see, I'm going this way, buckle step, cover elbow, pierce, this turns out, step it over this way, this hand comes up, come out like this, turn, now I'm that way. Okay? So that is hide the flowers under the leaves. I'll do it in a round way here so that you can see it. So I would have already finished this move. I wouldn't have to go back to droop down palm. If you start this movement by itself, not connected to anything else, then you would do droop down palm. If this was the first movement that you were doing, so if you were putting the other 7 forms with this, and this was the first one, you would do droop down palm. Okay, so I'm here, wiggle, come out, this way. I'm 8 here, buckle step, turn over, turn out, around here, up, and out again. 7, 8, buckle step, pierce, turn out, around this way, up, and I'm back this way. Okay? So, those movements are important to remember. It's called hide the flowers under the leaves is the main movement of it. And that'll help you. It's not just one piercing palm where you turn here, but it's one where you practice the toe out step, the toe in stance, and come around and come out. Okay, so practice that on both sides, and you'll see that that helps you. And try to keep smooth. Try not to hesitate, try not to stop. I did it sort of hesitating here because I wanted to show you. But in reality, you wouldn't hesitate at all. It would just be a simple move like this. Here, same thing. Up, back again. So you can see how that works. All right, so thank you, and we'll get ready to show you the third single palm change, a little bit more complicated, that I teach my students. Now, this third one that we're going to do, it's really like a transition between a single and a double palm change. And it's called lion rolls the ball. So in this, it's a little bit more complicated in a way about the way you have to do it. It looks simple, but it's complex in its design. I love this for self-defense. And at some time I may have a video in storage somewhere that I can bring out to show you this. If not, you can go to my Facebook page, Dharma Way Dojo, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Dharma Way Dojo, and maybe you can see it. I'll try to make it available for you with me doing self-defense with one of my students using this particular movement called lion rolls the ball. Okay, so it's very good. It's like a transition between a single and a double palm change, because you can add double palm change elements to it. And so I will demonstrate it for you and show you how to do it. We walk the circle the same way. We do cover elbow the same way. We do the toe-in stance or the buckle step same way. Okay? But in this one, as we walk the circle, so I'll just show you, like I say I was going this way and I was going this way. We buckle step in, cover the elbow, turn this way. Now, in a lot of ways, this way I do a regular bow stance. Come around here to pick up clothes, but in so doing, I come around this way, and now I don't do hide the flowers under the leaves. I do this kind of movement. So it's like I'm rolling a ball, and then I come over here and roll a ball. Okay, so you're going to do it on both sides. So a lot of times, if I was going, let's see, if I was going this way, I bring this around like this. Here we go, boom. So, bring this down like that. So this movement here is a form of like droop down palm, but I'm just following this sphere out. So close this here, boom. See, this gets me turned here. So this gets me used to doing this movement. Then I come to the side that I was going. Then I stretch it around and come to the side I've been to. Toe in, both stance, come around, come back up and out. Then I'm ready to go the other way. Okay, so to do it again, say I got right here, up this way, 1, 2. So I was going that way, so do your hands this way first, then turn it. You want to stretch out with it, you want to bring it around, you want to roll this ball. In Chinese martial arts, especially the internal styles, if you're going to put a hand over a hand, if it's on the right side of your body, the right hand's up and the left hand's down. If you come over here, it's the left hand. This is my left hand. Right hand's down. You'll see that in karate, a lot of times it's this way. And some Shaolin is this way. And I'm not saying that some bagua may not be that way. But as a general rule, in the internal Chinese martial arts, if you're on the right side, the right hand's up. If you're on the left side, the left hand's up. Okay? So from here, I want to do this movement here. See? This is a throw. Bagua really doesn't have ground fighting because as a martial art used in life and death situations, it was not preferable to be on the ground. Bagua oftentimes is done with weapons as well. Okay, so that may be a hole in it that you could say, but I'd say it's not so much a hole as it is something you'd like to avoid. If you have good balance, then you're not going to be fighting somebody force to force anyway, so it's going to be difficult for them to get you on the ground. This Qing style originated with Qing Ting Hua, and Dong Hai Chuan, the founder of Bagua Zhang, would not actually teach anybody who wasn't already a master of another martial art. He didn't take beginners. Okay, and you can see why. It's quite complicated. So he just didn't even teach beginners. As a matter of fact, he taught most people according to the art they already knew. So Qing Ting Hua was a shuojiao practitioner. In other words, that's the Chinese art of it's not wrestling necessarily, but throwing. Okay, it's a throwing art. And in this throwing art, you're using leverage. Okay, so when you see up and down moves, you think to yourself, well, those are not practical. Well, that's if you're boxing, maybe. But if you're in a real fight and people grab you, then you have to learn to dissipate their force and move them with leverage, not with strength. So when I get some more students here after the lockdown, after the quarantine, I'll start to show you applications for each of these moves, and I'll show you how practical this is. Because in a lot of ways, you're getting behind your opponent. Bagua Zhang is known for getting quickly behind your opponent. And this move right here catches his head and then throws him to the side of your body as you're turning parallel. It can also be a grab with a break, okay? So it depends on what you're doing. It'd be very difficult for me to explain it to you and show you right here because I don't have somebody for a guinea pig, UK. But if I did, I would show it to you. And I will show it to you. I'll make another video of this. Just keep watching our channel. Go to my website. All these are on the blog portion of my website. So if you just go to selfdefensesolutions.co.nz, you can look at the blog there and you'll see a lot of them. There's a link also to our Facebook page on our website. Okay? And so you can see that. But, and you can go to our YouTube channel. So, and if you go to YouTube, it's Dharma Way Dojo. Each letter, each word's separate, and each first letter of each word is capitalized. If you just go there, you'll get to see it. So as I come here and I cover the elbow, I come down like this. I'm going to press both palms down like this. Then I'm going to turn the way I was going with the right hand up. And there's going to be this movement from in to out. I'm going to try to get this thing going. I'm not going to try to make my legs move. I'm going to leave my legs still, and I'm going to rotate my torso on top of my arch in the crotch and my legs. So I'm not going to buckle these in. This helps to form a strong root. So I'm this way. So you see I've done this. I buckle this step. Sometimes I don't buckle the step before I set it down. A lot of times I get here, I turn it up like this, and then when I come down this way and this gets stationary, I turn that one. Okay, now the way I was going, then over to the way I've been, and I follow it. By following it, I don't mean I go like this, stop, take a step, toe in, come back this way. You can hide the flowers under the leaves here. I don't, I just go from here. Okay, and follow this line out again, and back again, and back out like that. Try to keep this in mind, and try to learn to do it on both sides. When I was first learning Bagua Zhang, my teacher would only show you the counterclockwise side. You had better come back next week doing the clockwise side, or he just wouldn't teach it to you anymore. So that was a pretty tough way to learn it, wasn't it? So I learned this basic 8 forms in just a few weeks because you didn't have any choice and there was nobody else around at the time to teach it to you. So if you really wanted to learn it, you'd get after it, you know. So as you come in here and I do this and come out, I'm this way, this way, this way. And so watch how there's no stopping. There's absolutely no stopping. If I did it this way, do the same thing. And this way, you can see I've turned in this way. Now, I was going that way, I've been that way, I've turned around that way, and I'm back out again. Okay? So you can repeat these on either side over and over and over again. You can take each of these single palm changes, and now you'd have 3 things to do, clockwise, counterclockwise and clockwise. Okay? And that'll give, if you can learn to maintain your posture, fold and open your joints, maintain fluidity and not stop even when it appears that you're stopping, then the double palm changes and the smooth palm changes will not be difficult or as difficult. There's the legend of an old master, I forgot his name, who for 3 years could only do the single palm change, and his teacher had only taught him 1 single palm change. I've taught you 3. He had only taught his student 1 single palm change. But his self-defense applications were almost perfect, and the reason is because he had learned smooth change. He had learned how to change. He actually left that teacher, though, and went and learned with another master because he was so bored with just doing the single palm change. And I can understand that. But nevertheless, the benefit you will get from understanding the single palm change is tremendous. It's a foundation. If you don't have that foundation, then if you try to put double palm changes and more combinations on top of it, you simply won't have it. So the internal martial arts are not just about the movements, but about the foundations of the movements, about following the dial of the body and the mind, and expanding your consciousness and expanding your awareness, and becoming a causal effect. In other words, there's a cause and there's an effect of cause, which then becomes a cause, which causes an effect. That is the interaction with your opponent. That is the interaction with yin and yang. Most people are trying to overcome their opponent with their strength. What happens when you get old? What happens when you get 2 opponents? What happens when you get 3 opponents? And these people who put down martial arts all the time, this art's better than that art, I've just never heard anything so stupid in my life. That's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Either you can smoothly do it with an opponent or you cannot. If you're doing it with strength, then you'll be successful against weaker people, but against stronger people you will not be successful. Then why do the art at all then? Then why do it at all? Because it only works sometimes. I don't want something that works sometimes. I want something to work all the time. And vectors of force are present in any attack, regardless of the strength of the opponent. So to follow the dissipation of force principle is to follow the highest principle of martial arts. Any other principle is simply, I don't know, brutish. Okay? It's simply just brutish. It's egotistical. It's silly. You know what I mean? It doesn't actually work. You can't face the dial. The dial is everything. So if it's cold outside, if it's 10 degrees below zero, and you're just determined because of your ego to be tough and not wear clothes outside, and you freeze to death, well, okay. If you think you're so strong and big and bad that you can overcome 3 opponents with weapons or something like that, well, okay, go do that then. Go do that and prove it to me. Because I don't want to sound ugly or anything like that, but, the gate's open. You can come and try it. You can try it with a good attitude and I'll teach you. Okay? So show me something, because I'm not going to use strength. So So come in, be as strong, be as big, be as bad as you want to be, but I'm not using strength. So what you're using strength, so how are you going to defeat something that's not there? How are you going to defeat something? It's like defeating water. You can't defeat water. You will succumb to water. Okay? So it's the same way here. If you stay inside your tube, your opponent has to realize that this exists. He has to realize that the way that the body's configured and made exists. So this is line rolls a ball. It's a very good movement, especially between the palm changes. You can stand and just do this. Then you can become vertical with it if you want. You were vertical to a degree, but you're horizontal. You're coming around to vertical back again. At least this arm is. But it depends on how many exchanges you have as to where it's single or double. So this still works as a single palm change in my opinion, because you're from this side to this side, this foot exchanges with this foot, and you're staying roughly horizontal, you see. Okay, so line rolls the ball. So those are my opinions. I know people don't want to hear it. That's okay, just turn it off. But this is the way it works. So if you meet an opponent, you're not blocking here, you're turning here. Okay, this is a trip. This is a kick to the legs. This is buckling his knee. Or it can be to the head. It can be so many things. It can be an infinite number of things. It can just be a step around your opponent. Because what is your opponent's doing? He can attack you in an infinite number of ways, so your applications for one move must be infinite. Okay, if not, you're trying to mix and match in the midst of life and death combat, and that's not going to work. I've been in life and death combat, and that's not going to work now. So as you move, you're going to have to smooth, you see. And you have to follow your own dantian. You have to follow this around this way. You don't stop. You see, my torso never stops moving. See? So if I come around here to do it, see? And there we go. See, so that's line rolls the ball. L-I-O-N. I know I have a southern accent, so sometimes it's hard to understand me. Line rolls the ball. Good intermediate move between your single palm change and your double palm change. Though it was the first single palm change our teacher taught us was line rolls the ball. Because he started usually quite complex. I've seen a lot simpler moves than that, but line rolls the ball is very good. Very good movement, especially when you're stepping around your opponent's vector of force. Okay? So thank you, and we'll start the videos on the second palm change. I mean the double palm changes. And we look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Thanks. If you'd like to donate, please go to our website during this quarantine, selfdefensesolutions.co.nz. Hit the donate button. Just leave whatever you can. We really appreciate it. It'll help us out a lot on the way to surviving this quarantine, because most businesses are shut down. So thank you, and I'll see you soon inside the dojo.